Okay, we'll leave the State of Origin tips there and move on to this week's Fave 5 list. We're staying with the Origin theme as we move into Game 2. And this time I've split it up, and before anyone gets down my throat on this one, I'm going Fave 5 Queensland Legends. I've got a Fave 5 New South Wales Legends list ready to go. It will be coming in the coming weeks. But at the end of the day, I'm a Queenslander. It's my Fave 5 list, so I'm doing Queensland first. So that's how it's going to go. But New South Wales fans, I will have a New South Wales Fave 5 list coming in a couple of weeks.
I'm going to like this. I wonder who's going to be number one. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, who could it be? A couple of quick honourable mentions first. It's hard to squeeze everybody into a Fave 5, but I've left out Alan Langer, I've left out Gordon Tallis and Petro Siva. And I want to give a mention to a guy that I would love to have put in there, Brent Tate. I love Brent Tate, especially at State of Origin, man. The passion and determination just oozed out of that guy playing in Maroon. So I would have loved to have found spots for those sort of guys, but I couldn't fit them in.
If you're out there watching the video, we release every Thursdays. It's usually every Wednesday night, but it will consistently be there Thursdays. Back 3 NRL on Facebook, on Twitter, the Back 3 Podcast at outlook.com. Give us a follow us on iTunes, give us a rate, all that kind of stuff.
All right, number 5, we're starting big with Big Mal. What an ambassador for Queensland Rugby League Mal Meninga is. 32 appearances in a maroon jersey, 9 of them as captain. He was the leading point scorer in Origin history until Thurston passed him just last year. He's a man of the match winner. He's regarded by many as the greatest centre of all time. In addition to an unbelievable playing career, he coached the Maroons on 22 occasions, which is double the second highest amount of a Queensland coach, winning a staggering 9 series in 10 years. The most successful Origin coach of all time by a significant margin, and I think one day he's going to be named an immortal. It's just going to happen eventually. A legend in every sense of the word. Mal Meninga, number 5.
He was the first Greg Inglis. He's big,
yes,
strong, fast, skilled, had it all.
Yeah. Number 4, I might cop some flack for this, but I'm putting Darren Lockyer at number 4. Some people would want him higher. Darren Lockyer, I've got him at number 4. I would argue that Darren Lockyer probably the most beloved Queenslander of the last 20 years, I would say. I'd say he's top 3-4 beloved Queenslanders of all time, but he earned it with 36 Origin appearances. It was his record until Cam Smith went past it last game. 22 of them he did as captain. He's part of 7 series wins, 6 of them as captain. He was also part of 2 drawn series as well, so it could have easily been both of those times Queensland retained the series, so it could have been 9 series wins for him, but 7 series wins, 6 as captain, a 3-time man of the match. He won man of the match awards at fullback and at 5/8. Tommy, if this was your list, I think Lockie would be number 1.
I'm ashamed. Better be a better 3 than the back 3. That's what I'm going to say.
Trust me, it's a good top
That's
3.
Not very hard.
Number 3, Jonathan Thurston. Now, as far as I'm concerned, he's the best halfback that's ever played Origin in terms of what he's done out there and the consistency he's provided. When you look at the record and the consistency he's done and how consistently he's excelled, not just performed well, but excelled and been like the best out there. Nobody can touch him. Not Langer, not Johns, not Ricky Stewart. Nobody, and I'll argue that with anybody. He's about to play his 35th consecutive Origin, 35 in a row. For context, the previous record was 24. That was set by Gary Larson. So that's an incredible achievement. I don't know if anyone's ever going to go past 35 and counting in a row. So Jonathan Thurston, that's remarkable. He's won a number of games just on his back, coming up with the winning play. He's a 9-time series winner. He's a Wally Lewis medal winner, the leading point scorer in Origin history, and a 5-time man of the match. I rate him the second most competitive player on this list, which we'll get to later. And if there's one player you want with the ball in your hands on the line this Wednesday, if the game's on the line, it's Jonathan Thurston.
Right, and you can always count on him. Like we mentioned, Lockyer and Thurston, what an era it was when they were 6 and 7. Thurston was the apprentice as such. Lockyer was the master. And man, I think you've summed it up. He's surely the master now. The only thing I can think of for Lockyer's sake is Lockyer's got 4 premierships under his belt. Thurston has the one, but not discounting him. Golden Boot winner, Dally M winner, everything under his World Cup winner, you name it. I think, truly once he retires, I think he'll overtake Lockyer, but it's hard.
Well, this is a purely Origin list, and looking at the numbers, I've got Jonathan Thurston ahead of him.
Agreed.
It's a controversial call, but I'm making the call. Number 2, Cameron Smith. Captain Cam is now the most capped player in Origin history as he approaches his 38th fixture coming up in Game 2 here. The only game he missed since making his debut in Game 3 2003 was Game 1 2010 when he was out injured. He's won 9 series, 4 of them as captain. He's a 5-time man of the match, a 3-time Wally Lewis medal winner for player of the series. Arguably the best big game player of this generation. He is cool as ice under pressure, always seems to come up with the right play at the right time in the most high pressure moments. I think he's probably the best dummy half in the history of the game, and he's my second favourite Queensland Origin legend of all time.
He's certainly the most consistent player I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen Cameron Smith have a bad game, let
15
alone
years, yeah.
let alone a bad Origin. So, yeah, I mean, well deserved on the list. 38 games now, you said?
38 and counting.
That's
And
insane.
he's probably going to be on another couple of years.
He might even play 50. So, there you go.
Who knows? Number 1, no surprise, it's the king, Wally Lewis, the best Origin player of all time. We can all sit and marvel at the current crop of Queensland greats running around, and we should. We look at the power of Malmanega, the ferocious Gordon Tallis, the brilliant Alan Langer, or Darren Lockyer, but none of them can touch the king. Wally had all the skills. He had an outstanding kicking game, a great passing game, brilliant vision, terrific game management. But the thing for me that set Wally apart from everybody else was passion. Wally in his prime, wearing a maroon jersey, is perhaps the most ferociously competitive player of all time. He took it upon himself to beat New South Wales on many, many occasions. He finished his career with 31 appearances, 30 of them as captain. He's an 8-time man of the match, 7-time series winner, all of them as captain. He also led Queensland to wins in those first one-off years in 1980 and 1981, so you could really count it as 9 series win for him. The king of State of Origin, the most iconic figure in the history of the fixture. The king, Wally Lewis. There'll never be another one like him.
Could it be anyone else?
No.
He was always going to be
Couldn't
Wally.
be. Number 1. That's the Fave 5 for this week. If you've got any other guys you want to add in, any guys that I've left out, I know I didn't have any forwards in there, and I'm thinking I might do a Fave 5 Origin enforcers down the line. So if you've got, any suggestions for things like that, hit us up. Denny, how can people do that?
Back 3 NRL, Facebook and Twitter, the Back 3 podcast at outlook.com. If you're watching it on Facebook, head over to our YouTube page. It'll be there on our Facebook somewhere. Give us a subscribe. It really helps. So, yeah, all that kind of stuff.
I feel bad for Petrol, 70 cents a litre.
I love Petro.
Yeah, I love Petro. He's a veteran of the game, but as you mentioned, mate, very hard top 5. And I'm sure the New South Wales one is going to be just as hard as well next week.
Yeah, that was very hard to come up with too. So that one is coming. I'll probably do it leading into Game 3. So keep an eye out for that, New South Wales fans. It is coming. As we move to the 1 hour mark here on the podcast, let's move on to some...